Well, remember, the idea was that you guys would subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell to know when we're going live. In this case, we're going live because the latest news is, again, more bad news for the Trojans. The Branch brothers have entered the transfer portal. We could talk about that. We could also talk about Josh Henson, who is a very polarizing figure at USC. The offensive line coach is on his way to Purdue to be the new offensive coordinator for the Boilermakers. That could be on the target as well if you guys want to talk about whatever. Because remember, this is your show. This is the only show I know that's dedicated 100% to making you the caller, the star of the show. We want the Trojan family to sound off. Look, the portal's been rough. I'm not gonna mince it. You know, it's been hard. There's a lot of questions, a lot of people getting really angry in the fan base. They're already setting up their sides for which side they want to be on. I want to hear from you guys. Phone number is 888-997-4539, 888-99 Riley. Call in, sound off. Let me know what your thoughts are on losing these guys. It was funny because when I heard the news, or I kind of started hearing the news earlier this morning. Hi, caller. Hang on one second for me, please. I started hearing the news early this morning, and there's been rumbling. If you go back a couple of weeks, you would see where we had our portal rumors. And matter of fact, Zachariah, this picture was on the cover of that one because there's been a lot of rumbling for a while about Zachariah and the portal, his use on the team, whether it would have been scheme, there's how he's being used. There's, issues with his play, guys not getting enough targets. There's been a lot of conversations, and his name was coming up a lot. But as time went on, I was getting kind of hopeful because we are getting, it wasn't just Zachariah. It's also his brother, Zion Branch, has also entered the portal, a guy that I think USC really could have used on the defense. We know that our entire secondary is getting overhauled. If Kamari Ramsey leaves, literally every guy in that secondary is going to be a new starter. So we could have used that veteran player. He's like that prototypical box safety, 6'2", 210 pounds. And I mean, he could hit. And if they somehow were able to hang on to Kamari Ramsey, which is a possibility, much more possible now we hear that DJ Harvey, a friend of Kamari Ramsey, is joining the team. I'm not saying that's going to solidify anything, but it's kind of good news. That they would have been a hell of a tandem back there. I know we have a lot of young, and we do. Marquise Gallegos, absolute baller, absolute stud. He's going to get in the rotation at some point. I know that. But losing, if we lost Ramsey, Shaw, Akili Arnold, that leaves that space with not a lot of experience. So they're got to lean, heavily on a new batch of players. So sorry, my soundboard's messed up. So I just really think that USC could have used it. So it's not just a loss. I mean, people we were talking about, make sure you go over to LAFB. I don't know if it's released yet, but I was filming over to the LAFB guys this afternoon. We talked about this. We went into quite some detail about, both Jamal and Ryan Dyrud feel that, hey, look, and I kind of agree with them. It might even, as big a loss as Zachariah is, losing a healthy Zion might be up there as far as need is concerned. I'm not saying the need that Zachariah is not amazing, but there's a need at safety. Like I said, we have lots of good talent at safety, but it's unproven talent. I mean, we really don't know what we're going to see from the young secondary, but we remember everyone watched the spring game with Christian Pierce, saw a little bit what he could do. Again, I've talked about Marquise Gallegos during his recruitment. I said the guy's absolute ball hawk. He is. So I'm excited to watch and see what our young guys do. But man, I'm gonna feel a lot safer, a lot more comfortable with our secondary if we got a big veteran force back there as well. So hi, caller. Thank you for being so patient. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up, man? It's Uncle Boom.
Uncle Boom, what's up? What is up, sir? How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. I mean, hey, in this new state of college football, it is what it is, man. For me, as a fan, I'm not going to sit here and hit the panic button every time somebody hits the portal or somebody we don't get in the portal. That's just not how I'm going to react.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, as far as players leaving and them possibly wanting to negotiate numbers after the season, and if they're not worthy of a renegotiation, they shouldn't be. And I don't like this new state of college football to where you got to re-recruit players every single year. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure a lot of people are on board with that. If we got money or not, it shouldn't have to be that way. And I know that none of us are in the rooms with these coaches and these kids as parents. Kids, they're quote unquote NIL agents and all of that jazz.
Mm.
I feel like this generation of kids and their parents that are being paid, this is the wrong generation to pay the kids. Because they feel like they're too entitled. They feel like they're so entitled to this money when they're really not. And I understand people have always wanted to. I understand that paying kids was always a big thing, even when I was growing up being a kid, because these colleges were making billions and millions of dollars off of these kids' name, image, and likeness. I do understand that. But when you're a kid trying to take advantage of a good thing that you got going, one, to me, it speaks of the character of the kid. It speaks to me the character of the parents and how they're being raised. And three, it speaks to how money hungry these people really are. They're not playing football for the love of the game, or obviously. That was supposed to go with when you go to the NFL.
Well, Uncle Boom, do you mind?
Go to college,
Uncle Boom, can I hop in real quick here?
go ahead.
Do you feel that playing for the love of the game and getting a piece of the pie are mutually exclusive?
No, I don't.
Right.
Because if you're doing it every year, and you're making a big deal about certain conditions that aren't being met, supposedly of what you guys agreed on, what these people to realize is this is a game. This is a sport to where you're supposed to be able to compete day in and day out. Here's the thing, your spot is not supposed to be safe throughout the entire year. If you slack off, someone else is supposed to step up and take your spot. Period. That's just how I was raised when I played sports. If I wasn't good enough and somebody was showing improvement, they're supposed to take my spot. And I've seen a lot of these kids that played for USC this year that weren't making a lot of improvement, but they were still in the game. Or I've seen some kids that showed some bad attitude during the season, and it caused one guy snaps. And I think we all know who that is.
Oh, I don't know. A lot of fans would name a lot of people in that same definition, but why don't you? I'm not going to make you name that person. But, yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm not going to name him, but people started asking why he wasn't getting any throws his way after Miller Moss got benched.
Okay,
but we can't think it's just that these kids, they just feel that they're too entitled to renegotiating or re-upping their contracts every offseason. And this is really going to hurt the product of college football going forward.
Okay, so what? Let's do it really quick. Can I push? You mind if I push you to this? I might ask everybody this one because this is on my mind as well. So here's me, right? I think at one point these kids will be they're going to be employees, and once they become, all these problems we fix. Now you're going to have the presidents not want to make this employees because then they can't be a nonprofit, right? That's everything goes kind of sideways. Mm-hmm. But eventually you get a nail on this. Hopefully they can get to where these guys are employees. And if that is the case, then you're going to have, I would like to see a 3-year contract, sign a 3-year contract. And then your 4th year, you can renegotiate when you've shown 3 years of football. Either I'm going to go to the NFL, or if I stay for my senior year, I want to renegotiate my contract. What do you think of that idea?
I am on top. I am with that 100%. I've tweeted this out before. I feel that if once you commit to a school, you need to be committed there for 3 years. And after your junior season is done, then you can hit the portal or stay with your school, obviously. But and that's it. I think you should only be able to hit the portal twice. If you're after your junior year and if you're a grad transfer or something like that.
Well, I think you should be.
Other than that, these kids transferring when you're a freshman, sophomore, or committing to a school when you're an incoming freshman, and then all of a sudden decommitting and going to another school because they offered you more money. That's just not that. At the end of the day, it's just not cool.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's out of control. It's not sustainable. It's out of control. There's no way you can run a program like that. It's going to turn fans off. And so I don't think you have to stay at the school for 3 years, but I think it should be just like coaches. Because, coaches don't stay for X amount of years, but they have a contract. And if they want to break their contract, there's a buyout. Yeah. And whoever wants to buy it out, it's got to pay for it.
Right.
And so I don't want any kind of indentured servitude where you're there 3 years, you're stuck there. I don't want kids stuck there. And I also do believe, this is one thing I'm going to throw out there. If you fire the coach, contracts have to be renegotiated. I think that, I don't know if that last part's going to be feasible.
That could be put in there as well.
But I want to make sure that the players more than the school. See, it's been backwards too long. The school's been protected more than the players. I think that's crap. I think the players should be more protected than the schools. I think coaches have a situation where they buy out. There's a buyout, right? We'll have a buyout for a player, which is fine because it works out for both the schools, right? You're getting a little more money for your NIL going forward, or your salary going forward for your players if someone wants to go through free agency and pay you that. Again, there's going to be a lot of legal stuff. I know there's going to be about 100 people telling me you can't do this, you can't do that. But this isn't sustainable. This isn't entertaining. It's not enjoyable. I see people calling it greed, but has anyone here ever, raise your hand if you've never taken a new job because they're paying you more money? Okay, good for you, because most of us have. That's not greed. It's because it's being paid what the market is giving you. And if USC is not willing to pay these kids what they can get somewhere else, they're not getting overpaid. It's not greed. It's what they're worth. That's what the market does. It shows you your worth. And if USC feels that worth, like Zachariah said, then they get to move on.
Yeah, I'm not on board with I'm not on board 100% with that notion. Reason being is because none of these kids are worth $1 million.
None?
None of these kids.
Wait, what? You know how much money these guys make?
Bryce Underwood.
Okay, no, you mean okay? So you mean freshmen coming out? You mean okay? I get you. Maybe we got to do it reverse. You know how like you have your rookie salary, then you get your real money. Hold on, Uncle Boom. Hold on, man. I can see something like that. Maybe we reverse it, Uncle Boom. Hold on a second. Maybe you get a 1-year contract, right? And then you renegotiate after year 1. And if you don't like it where you're at, then you go on somewhere else. And then you have your additional contract. This will all be fleshed out. But I agree, because the one thing we're seeing right now, I'm sure we're seeing it. There's guys on the defensive line that aren't happy that they've shown some elite production, or elite flashes, I should say, and they're not getting paid as much as a kid who's coming in from high school. I think that's going to cause lots of problem in the locker room. And I think you could alleviate that by having maybe setting, they have a rookie, contract. Maybe they could set that as well as like a freshman contract, and then you earn your sophomore contract. There's a lot to this I think can get fleshed out, but it's down the road. Right now, it sucks.
It needs to be a level playing field across the entire thing. That's why college football has been, regardless of the kids having got paid in the past or not, that's why it was so competitive. And there was just a love for being committed to your school.
Mm-hmm.
It just needs to go out. It just needs to go. Everything needs to be on a level playing field. There is some stuff that was shady back in the day with college recruiting still, but at the same time, it all needs to go back to being level. Like you said, all freshmen need to come in and sign this. Bam. You want to be a sophomore, they all sign this. Bam. Juniors sign this. Bam. Seniors sign this. Bam. But these outrageous contracts, if you're not producing, it's just like the NFL. If you don't produce, you don't make the money that you feel that you deserve. That's not the way it goes. Sorry.
Yeah. Hey, Uncle Boom. Anything else for us? We're kind of stacking up on the calls. Great points as always. I love when you call in. Thank you for calling in, man. I agree with you. It's something's got to change. All right, fight on, man. Thank you so much. That again. We do need something to happen, right? I mean, there's no doubt about that. No doubt. Great call. Hey, caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Tim, it's Russ from San Diego.
Russ, how you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing the same that everyone else is doing right now.
Yeah. So talk to me. What do you want? So you want to talk about Henson? You want to talk about portal? You want to talk about Zachariah and Zion? What's on your mind specifically?
I just want to, I called in a week or two ago, and we had a nice talk about how the state of college football is just, it's not fun right now. And this problem needs to get solved because it's as you said, it's unsustainable. And I think that, at a certain, if we go back 10 years ago, right? Like the problem was that we were protecting the sort of sanctity of college football, what we liked about it, what differentiated it from the NFL, you know, the recruiting process, how the team, that whole thing. I don't need to get into it again. And, at a certain point in society over the last decade or so, we have, in so many aspects of life, we have given in to these, like we've had to indulge every sort of crazy thought because I don't know, like I'm not going to mention any specifics because we're trying to stick to sports here, but at a certain point of time, we went to like, it was okay for the adults to kind of make decisions based off of like what we have lived through.
Sorry, my bad.
What we thought was best. No, you're good. And now pertaining to college football, we have totally got rid of any guardrails. We have indulged these kids, and listen, it was not fair that they were making no money off of this. Mm-hmm. That is completely true. But instead of implementing some system that was like a meet in the middle system, we just went and said, yeah, it isn't fair. We just indulged like all of their whims where they should be able to transfer twice in the same off season and just, basically have this ridiculous, like never ending period of free agency to the point where you could be 4 games into a season and now you're, if you don't get more money at game 3, well, I'm going to redshirt at game 5 and then I'm going to spend the next 8 months like searching for it. And it's just like at a certain point, we need to have the courage to stop this indulgence a little bit. We need to have the courage to make some decisions that doesn't take, I've said this before. I'm not advocating going back to 2002. These kids deserve money. We watch the sport because of the kids, and they deserve to get paid. But we need to pump the brakes on a lot of this stuff about, this infinite transfer portals again. Just like, I don't know about you guys. If I have to read another like 3-paragraph statement about why they left and how great it was here, but I'm leaving anyways, even though it was so good and my coaches are all wonderful, but I'm still leaving with the person like making a tackle. Just be honest. Put out 3 sentences. I'm leaving because I want money. Like at least I can respect that.
But wait,
but
Russ,
so I just think that
Russ, I don't think it's always about just money. It's also about playing time. It's also about, and I'm gonna get into a little more, but I can do it right now with you. Do you think it was a bit?
Sure.
Do you think it was a bit Pollyanna for all of us to think that you have 4 NFL level receivers with great, amazing skill sets, and that they were all going to stay in their money year with limited number of? There's only let's say we decide we're not going to run the ball like we should be doing, and we throw it 50 times a game, right? Every game. That might be great, but when you have you spread that around to 7 or 8 receivers, not everybody's able to eat. And these guys want to get to the NFL, and we deserve it. And quite frankly, when Lincoln Riley, when Simmons is recruiting them, they're talking NFL from the first conversation. And so you need to put these guys in the best situation they could possibly be in. And when you have 4 guys that all want to eat, there's not enough balls for that. Do you see what I mean? So it's not necessarily they don't like USC. They don't like their team. They don't like their players. They don't like their coach. They don't like their money. It might just be like, okay, I've given you guys a couple of years. This is my contract year, and I need to go out there and show the NFL what I can do. What are your thoughts on that?
For sure. Oh, for sure. Listen, I'm a little bit salty right now. I'm a little bit sensitive. Definitely.
Okay.
These kids obviously should, they have a right to want to put themselves in the best position to get to the NFL. I think a lot of Trojan fans, including myself, are with the wide receivers a little upset, at that, because it's just like, you guys dropped a lot of balls this year, you guys are true sophomores getting a lot of playing time. Zach Branch, you got the most targets. And I don't think, of all the people that don't have a thing to complain about, it's Zachariah Branch. Listen, great kid. I'm sure he's not a bad guy. I'm not saying he's a bad guy.
He's definitely not a bad guy. He's amazing. Yeah,
it's all the emotions are just a little raw right now, and I'm just
Russ, I got you, buddy. I know you're a good guy. I know you love SC. I know you love these players. I get it, but I do have to kind of. I'm sorry. This is pretty amazing. You guys out there, Russ, I love you, man. You call in every show, and I'm going to give you your time. I never want to hurry you off, but I've got 9 people waiting, and I think tonight I'm not going to lose. I lose a lot of calls because I kind of get long-winded. But this is your show, and I don't want to cut you off. Is there anything last thing you want to say before we move?
Yeah, last bit. My simple solution that I thought about is go back to when, if kids transfer, they have to sit out a year, but that rule is waived if the head coach leaves or their position coach leaves. If those 2 coaches leave, then a player can transfer and not have to sit out a year. I think that would allow them to get paid still. It would allow them, if they really thought their situation was bad, to go somewhere else. But it would bring some integrity back to the game, where there wouldn't be 2 different sets of rules for coaches and players then.
Well, there would.
That's my last point. I'll clear the line.
Awesome. Thank you. Hey, thank you, Russ. Fight on, man. Great call. Great call. Thank you. And thank you for always being here. I appreciate this. I love my first-time callers, but I love being able to come on here and hear this, guys I know support this show, and I really appreciate all you guys for doing that. But listen, I'm on board, by the way, with you, Russ. One condition: if we're going to make the players sit out 1 year, if you want to go off to Purdue and be an offensive line coach, if you want to head over to Alabama from Washington, be the new head coach, you got to sit out a year too. How about that? Because if it's going to be the same rules for everybody, the coaches got to do it too. I don't want anyone sitting out. I don't want anyone missing the game they love. I think once we get these contracts in place, I think then if we're going to pay players, because NIL was never supposed to be about paying players. So if we're going to pay players, let's rip the Band-Aid off, cut the bullshit, and start paying them. That's what we need to do. I know what's up. Hey, talk about people that always come and support me. Paulie Walnuts, you support my sanity. How are you doing, sir? How are you doing?
You better believe I do. 100. Tim, I'm doing great, Tim. It's always great to talk to you. I've been chomping at the bit, man, just to all week long. Honestly, I think we should start a 1-800 number. At least you got Gabe that you can call once in a while.
Yeah,
I'm over here dying, man, wanting to talk Trojan football. But anyway, getting to the whole thing of it, yes, welcome to the world, the new college landscape here, America. Yep. This is what we're dealing with, but it is what it is. And the way I look at it is, I'm not blaming the players. I'm not, it reminds me, like I said, of college basketball back with the one and done, where the NBA had to intervene and the NCAA had to get together and figure something out where the player at least had to play 1 year. I completely agree with you with the 2-year, 3-year contract, where a player should be able to just come in, at least dedicate some of his life to this university and give us something. If it's not working out, it's not working out. How in the world? Well, I think what makes me so sick to my stomach over this whole situation is our fan base and the national media just ripping our university to shreds, ripping our coaches to shreds, ripping these players to shreds. Man, you want to talk about loyalty? Where's the loyalty of our fan base? That's what I'm talking about. I'm actually a guy I got pretty pissed off about it, Tim. And the thing is how in the world do you guys expect? What do you think? You think we're going crazy over this? Can you imagine what Lincoln and his coaching staff have to deal with, man? Every time somebody pops up and leaves, but it is what it is. And I think when I look at Lincoln and what they're dealing with, I look at it as, you know what, maybe less is better. You look at that first year when Lincoln came in and Caleb and Travis Dye and those guys. And that's what I'm trying to get at to some of these people out here is that we need a Travis Dye in our lives. We need an Austin Jones. We need those leaders. That's what we were desperately missing this year. We had all the star-studded lineup, this whole star-studded team, and yet we were lacking that leadership and that dedication. And I understand guys want balls, but you look at what happened and it came out of Lincoln's mouth at the very end there towards the end of the season. Who started standing out? It was the Makai Lemons, the Jacoby Lanes, guys like that, the Woody Marks, the guys that were just constantly, just every single game was they're playing it like it was their last game, and especially Makai Lemon. I saw him, and you see the work he puts into it. He just would take it to another level, and Jaden as well. And I look at Zachariah, and I hate to see the brothers go. I love them. I absolutely love them. He struggled. He dealt with some adversity, but look at what his brother had to deal with. The poor guy, injury after injury, but he still stuck it through and he tried to make the best out of it. So let's give the Branch brothers some love, man, and wish them the best. And another thing too, it makes me sad because once Jaden came in, you noticed Zachariah started playing at a high level. He started playing really well. They were making that connection, but I understand the process. They want to be the guys somewhere else. They have every right to do that. But in the meantime, I'm happy to have guys like Marquise Gallegos.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, folks, there's a kid named Salas that's from a Bosco boy that's gonna come in and gonna take over. And I love this kid. I love their talent. These
Go Braves.
Guys, the Gus Cordovas. We're gonna have to depend on these young guys. But you know what? I'm ready for it because they want to be Trojans. They want to be here. And I think what we're happy is we're okay with some of these guys leaving. We're gonna be just fine. I'm not panicking at all. I have faith in the system. I've been like this since day one. I'm going to believe in Riley till he's gone. And you know what? It's just part of the way it is. The transfer portal hasn't worked out the way we wanted it to. But then again, you look at like that first year, guys like Travis Dye and we had, Jones and guys that no one really even talked about. And they turned out to be the biggest steals of that transfer portal that year. So I'm pretty optimistic. Riley's never let us down when it comes to running backs in the transfer portal. And you know what? I see the young guys stepping up as well. I can go on and on and on. I don't want to hold up the line anymore. I just want people out there, man, continue to have faith, bro. We're Trojans, damn it.
That's right.
We stand for something out here. And you know what? Represent the university with some class and some pride. And you know what? Fight on, Tim.
See? Every week I get to go and pray at the Church of Polly Walnuts because I know when my faith is wavering, Polly's going to come through for me. Look, I mean, I could be negative. I'm accused of being negative sometimes. I like the word objective, but objectivity is not mutually exclusive to negative. You can be objective and you could also lean into the positive. And that's what you do, Paulie. And you're so knowledgeable. I mean, I don't think people really listen to what the knowledge you're dropping because I am. And I appreciate every time you call in. Hey, caller, can you hang on 1 second? Let me do a little housekeeping. Hey, guys, thank you. There are 475 people on right now between Twitter and YouTube. Do us a favor. If you're on Twitter, please, give me a follow. My DMs are open. Any ideas you might have about the show you want improved on, let me know. My DMs are open. Questions you may have for the show, drop them in there as well. I'll get to them if I can. Also, on the question thing, you guys, this is a call-in show, so it's hard for me to check the chat. The best way for you to get my attention is you just drop a super chat, and I will make sure that your call or your comment is addressed during the show. And the final part of this also is hit that like and subscribe button, you guys. That is absolutely the best way for me to know that you like these late night shows. I do different times. This looks like it's a pretty good time because I'm getting there's a lot of you out there, but hit that subscribe button. Let me know. We do want to get to that 6,000 mark, hopefully before the end of the year, and we could do that. We're about 100 away. So if you do enjoy the show, if you don't, that's fine. Thank you for being here. But if you do enjoy the show, please give us that sub and give us a thumbs up so other people can check out the show. Hi, caller. Thank you for being patient. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Tim. My name is Dale. I'm calling from the Bay Area, but I'm from Los Angeles. Right now, I go up to school in Berkeley right now. But I'm a double Trojan. Been a fan for a very long time, since Rob Johnson, Johnny Morton. Went to school for my 2 graduate school degrees at SC, and first one in 2007 and second one in 2010. So I'm a diehard Trojan fan, always have been. I've never called on your show. I'm a first-time caller, but I'm usually in the chat bitching and complaining, and that's what I do. And the reason why I do have to explain a little bit of reasons for my negativity is because I've been a USC fan when it was bad, but I've seen USC at its height. With Pete Carroll. And even though a lot of people didn't like Lane Kiffin, I thought that was an amazing job as well during sanction.
For sure.
My older brother played at Nebraska during when Tom Osborne was there. My brother was a walk-on. He was there in the glory years. I've seen good programs when they run over everybody in their conference. So that's why, although a lot of people probably take my comments and everything as negativity, it's just because my whole thing, my whole personality is more of just trying to get USC back on top. And I don't really like, I wasn't happy with 7-5, let alone 6-6. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no one is. And I'll tell you this.
Anyways, the reason why,
Dale, I'll say this.
Mm-hmm.
You love the school, right? You love SC, right? And you love these kids, right? That play for SC? Then you're allowed to be, it's not negativity. It's you want to see change. I am not against people expressing their wishes as long as it's done with a love for the university and love for these kids. Things need to change, and change is good. And I bet you any coach worth his salt, including Pete Carroll, knew from year to year you had to get better, because anyone that's in a leadership position knows you got to get better or you're falling behind. So I think they're trying to find their way, and I appreciate your your constructive negativity. What's on your mind?
Yeah. So what's on my mind is I've heard some of the callers kind of talk about the system of what's going on. I really think that's a waste of time because, we have different conferences. I don't think anyone's going to have the power to do that until we get until we have like real authority to govern all the conferences. But from my point of view is the problem is we have like a Dave Emmerich problem in my point of view. We need to get a GM. When Carol Fultz is gone, maybe we'll know where the money's. We'll be able to funnel the money to the correct places, like how Ohio State or Oregon does it. I don't understand how we're losing most of our wide receivers, or at least 50% of our starters. It just doesn't seem like we have a plan for the recruiting side, because when Lincoln Riley does not show up to Mater Dei versus St. Bosco, I don't know what's going on with the Southern California recruiting. So with that, I was wondering your thoughts on that. I think we have an issue with a plan for the recruiting, and not even getting new recruits, but the recruits that the players that we have, having them stay aboard.
Well, I mean, the 2026 class is very, Southern California centric. So my goal with the NIL and recruiting is first year recruiting. Now this is new recruiting. I mean, call it what you want. Call it roster management. Call it recruiting. It's signing now, really, right? For most of the kids, you're signing them like to deals. So the recruitment, I don't know. It's just not like traditional recruitment. But I do know that the 2026 class, you just the latest one. You have great defensive back. You got a cornerback from Rancho Cucamonga, and RJ Sermon's legacy. His dad played at Roddy Sermon's at USC for John Robinson. So there is it looks like a concerted effort, Southern California. I think the winning strategy is going to be is keep your roster Going back to what you said about the wide, we're gonna lose some people, and you're gonna see that. I think after the bowl games, you're gonna see a lot of these big programs. You can't stack dudes anymore. It's just the game now. It's the way it is in college football. And so if you have 4 great wide receivers, you can't keep them all happy. And I saw people saying, they're not great. They're not great Trojans. I put a comment about being great Trojans, and some people don't understand the difference between great Trojans and Trojan greats. You know what I mean? You don't have to light up the scoreboard to be a great Trojan. You just got to exemplify what it means to be a Trojan. Again, check out the LAFB channel. We go into depth on that whole topic as well. Jamal does a great job of nailing it down. But you're not gonna be able to keep them. So the goal here is going to be is to roster management. It's just a new game now. I guess Dale's the best way I could say it to you. I don't know. If I told you I wasn't worried about what's going on at USC as far as our roster, I am very skeptical, but it's not done yet. They're going to have to do a lot. They missed a lot in the high school recruiting. They did. They're going to have to make up for it in the portal, because the roster we have as we talk right now it's going to be a rough year if we cannot get better and get some quality depth at certain positions. It's going to be an absolute long year. Anything else, Dale?
What do you think about, because I did read something. Yeah, just one other thing was about, I did read about us going after the guy, I forgot his last name. His name is Courtney. He's one of the top. He's
from Alabama.
At Alabama.
Yeah.
I heard that I heard we offered him more money than Alabama. He turned us down to stay at Alabama. That was last year.
Maybe.
So I'm wondering, or not this past summer.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know.
I was just
it's so funny. We're
not going after anything else.
Those negotiations are probably not going to get leaked. Do we offer them more money? Possibly, maybe. He turned down, possibly, right? Most likely. But the problem, I'm sure we did reach out to him. I'm almost certain that we did. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm not here. Like a lot of people have questions about Dave Emmerich, because Dave Emmerich should be going, yeah, I guess I'd question if I was a fan. I was saying, why are we losing so many guys that were starters, on the team, and quality players and highly recruited, great production? A guy like, Quentin Joyner, 6-7 yards a carry. I'm 7.6 yards. I can't remember what it was. Something ridiculous. The talent's clearly there. The only home run hitter in the backfield we had, and the ability to break tackles in the backfield, not get tackled for a loss. There are questions. The problem is from us, we don't know the backward. It's hard to narrow down where it's getting screwy. Just like it's hard to narrow down who should be playing on the field, because we're not there at practice. None of us know what's going on behind all these closed doors. Very few people. And we have our ideas. Where I stop at it is, I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't think any Trojans out there like they're seeing. This is USC. If the money is there, which I believe, then where is the problem? Why don't we act like big guys? Because I'm not going to sit here and say we're a top 5 program, we're a top 10 program if we don't if we don't negotiate, if we don't build rosters like they do. Because when I see other programs, and yes, they do have some big money donors at some of these schools, and that does change things, obviously. But the money they say is there. So what's the problem? How come we can't compete with the big guys? I guess we're going to find out here in the portal really soon. You know what I mean? So be patient, Dale. Let's see if they can get it done, and then we can start asking for heads. But at this point, the game's still playing. We're like in the fourth quarter now. It's a long fourth quarter because it goes all the way to the end of spring ball. But I'm telling you, there's a lot to still figure out about this roster, if you know what I mean. All right. Hey, Dale.
I do. I appreciate your show. It's a great show. Fight on. Yeah.
Thank you for fine calling it. And listen, be as critical of me and the program as you want, because I know you love the school. Thank you, man. Fight on.
Appreciate it.
Great call. Yeah, man. Hey, listen, this isn't, I don't want some kind of utopia here. You got a problem with the school? Let's talk about it. You have an issue with me? Let's definitely talk about it. If you got an issue with a player, let's talk about it. Let's keep it respectful. That's only where I draw that line, okay? You can be rude to me on the phone. That's fine. I'll be rude back. Let's go. All right. Hi, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm CJ. You call from Philly. How's it going?
Thank you. And you called last week, right? Is that right? think you did.
That's right. Yeah. I was the one that. Yeah. Figured I'd with all the hysteria going on today, I figured I'd give a call and just share some thoughts.
Absolutely, that's what it's about.
What's going on. So, yeah. So I think there's really no use in beating over the hammer and beating over the head with a hammer the current portal rules and just how the transfer portal works, because I think we can all agree it's broken. There will be at some point major reform with it. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but there's a lot of reform that needs to happen with it. And you remember I said on the call last week that those four guys at receiver, you're not going to keep them all happy. I said last week, if we can make it out of this with Makai and Jacoby, I'm okay with that. And we had heard the rumblings for well over a month now, month and a half upwards, that Zachariah was probably going to end up, was looking to leave. And, we had been criticizing, Henson all year, especially after the Minnesota game. You saw USC Twitter, how much, Henson was getting laid into this year. And it's like, okay, well, the day finally came. Zachariah hit the portal and Henson's gone. Okay. And then you go on USC Twitter today and everybody's acting like the freaking world is on fire. And it's like, guys, this is what you all wanted. This is
Wait,
what you were complaining about all year.
TJ, are you new to Twitter? The wind changes and people lose their minds. I mean, right.
I know. You know what I mean. But like, it's, look, we were, myself included, extremely critical of Zachariah's play this year. You heard me talk about him last week, and I still think the jury's out on him. I think it's kind of going back to earlier in the conversation with how the way the portal works now. I don't know if you saw him. I don't know if you saw within the last hour or two, he already has a do not contact tag on him. So someone out there he's already got a deal in place, which again, I think that is completely ridiculous. And, that's something that they're just openly admitting that they're tampering and and the NCAA can't do anything about it, which is just ridiculous. But, one of the main things that, I wanted to talk about is that, look, we talked about it last week. This is part of college football now. The portal is part of college football. All programs all throughout the country are losing 4-star guys, losing 5-star guys. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
However, I am going to kind of play devil's advocate of my own argument here, in that it's a little unsettling that we're 9 days in the portal cycle now, and we have one guy signed in DJ Harvey. And look, if you're going to lose all these guys, which I understand it's part of the process, you better have some guys coming in. And I get it. It is a bit early, but guys are flying off the board every day, every hour, top guys at top programs. And I think, one of the major arguments that I've always made with recruiting nowadays is I think that people think that these recruits, and even guys in college right now that are in the portal, I think they overemphasize how much overall record plays into their decision. Look at Miami last year. Miami went 7-6 last year. They pretty much sucked, and they finished with a top 5 recruiting class last year. This year, look at Auburn. Auburn didn't even make a bowl game, and they're a top 10 recruiting class this year. Brian Kelly a month ago was on the chopping block, and no one was down in college football worse than LSU. And they're on a freaking heater in the portal right now. So it's like, I see that happen and I go, okay, because I think we can agree from what we're hearing with the rumors with NIL and what our budget is and everything. I don't think money is really a problem right now with us. There's the rumors of anywhere between 18 to 24 million. I can't confirm that, but that's what we've been hearing.
Mm-hmm.
It almost makes me think, I don't know if they just look, I'm in sales. So, anytime, we're not closing a deal or, having a down month or something, I'm saying, is my pitch and what I am trying to convince this person of working right now? It almost makes me think, is what Lincoln Riley is saying to these kids, is it resonating with them? right now, like when he's trying to sell them on the program, when he's trying to sell them on coming to FC right now, I'm kind of getting the impression that is it resonating? Because it doesn't feel like it is.
Well, I mean, I guess
So-
I see where you're coming from. Let me just kind of jump in real quick. Yeah, the issue is going to be. I think having the 6-6 season and the way it kind of ended was kind of lost some momentum. I guess a lot of people that know much more about recruiting than I ever will have said in the past that it's really not about the players don't see it the way the fans do. Like Gerard Martinez says, it doesn't matter. You know, they're not looking at wins and losses like players do, fans do, and that makes sense, right? They're looking, where do I fit in the system? Where am I going to go? How am I going to look? How much playing time? It's just, these are all, see, as much as we change with the portal and NIL, still some of these things do resonate. Some guys want to stay close to home still, right? Location matters. Some guys want to get away from home. Location matters. Some guys want, you know, their position coach. They need that connection to their position coach. Some guys want to play for championships. Some guys just want money, right? And just like in the old days when you're playing, you know, NCAA football, you got to find out what they want and you push it. And yeah, to me, it's there's something in the NIL. I'm saying I hear you and I believe the money's there. There's something about the NIL that's not working for USC. It's working for other schools. And I was told to be different this year because before they were waiting till guys get on the campus. Well, they're not doing that this year. So why are we still having these same issues with closing on the big names we wanted in high school? And like, why is it like big names like Silver, for instance, right? The kid from Kentucky. How come that's not a slam dunk? How do we go, look, big need, we need you. You can move right in here and look really great on Big Ten football on TV every Saturday. Come on in. Here's a chunk of money. Let's do this. We got Coach Henney to develop you for the NFL. Let's go. Last year with Harmon. I mean, it's like we want to be in the top 5, but we don't want to do what schools in the top 5 are doing.
Exactly. And I think and I know that you probably got some people online. I just want to kind of,
they all left.
Finish up with here.
Just kidding.
It's that, well, I'll still try to make it quick. But again, it goes back to that argument that I was saying earlier that, well, if you look at the top 10 recruiting right now, or even just outside 11, you got Auburn is the sixth ranked recruiting class in the entire country right now. Auburn sucked. Auburn sucks this year.
Yeah.
Okay. Hugh Free, like they're 5-7. They're not making a bowl. Okay. You got Texas A&M at 7. They finished 8-4. LSU, another 8-4 team. You know, Michigan 7-5, I think. With Florida, Florida 7-5.
7-5 with Larry Ellison throwing bags. And
this year.
Again, I listen. There's a lot of things. Again, it's money. It's relationships. It's all of that stuff. Why can't we have nice things? But listen, hey, thank you so much, TJ. Appreciate the call. Great call. But yeah, I'm crap at my job. Again, I told myself I would do this, but I lost 7 calls. But that was a great call. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for calling in. Okay, so the pledge to the 7 people that have like called and left. I mean, I still have 5 in the queue, but I'm sorry to you 7. I'm gonna make a new rule here to myself because I talk way too much. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take calls, and I would like you guys just have 1 or 2 ideas. Throw them out there, and then we're gonna have to move on because again, I've got she's 1, 2, 3. Now I got 5 calls. Okay, so what we're doing is we're gonna take calls. Hit me with your points. You don't have to have 1 point and hang up and listen to my answer. Let's go back and forth on like 1 or 2 topics, and then we got to move on because I'm tragically bad at this. I got people waiting 27 minutes, and I apologize to whoever that is, and I apologize to 7 people that left. I got to make these calls faster, so let's try to cut them down. Let's keep them about 3 minutes, okay? Caller, hi. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Tim, it's Adam calling from Georgia. How's it going?
Good. How are you doing, Adam? Adam is the host here at the Voice of College Football for the Rutgers channel, but he's also a USC alumnus and definitely keeps a close eye on the Trojans. How are you doing, Adam?
All right, thanks. I'll be quick. So I was just thinking about this conversation, and I started teaching here at a college in Georgia about 5 years ago, and about 2 years in, I got an offer to teach at another school for like 2.5 times the money. And I almost took it, but the reason I didn't was because I realized that if I did that, my students would be so disappointed and feel so betrayed. And I just couldn't do that to them. I felt a sense of loyalty to them because the money didn't matter as much as the connection I had with them. These kids these days, I'm not sure if it's their parents or whatnot. They have no sense of loyalty, of duty, of persevering, of overcoming adversity, of sticking it out through tough times with the team and with each other. Instead, they go for the money and they put their self-interest over the collective interest of the team. And in doing so, Tim, they don't learn the kind of life lessons that you need to learn when you're not playing football and life is going to get tough. And I think it's disgusting. And I think going for the money in the short term may prove valuable, but in the long term, it's going to harm them because they're not developing the resilience and the perseverance and the ability to overcome adversity that you need in life. And I think it's terrible that we're allowing this. And for me, saying that this is the way it is, it really isn't good enough. If I was a coach and a player went into the transfer portal, I'd never accept them back because I want to teach my players not just how to be good at football, but how to be good at life. Maybe I'm old school, but to me, this whole culture is wrong, and it makes me very sad.
I'm with you in that I miss kind of what you're speaking to as far, but you see, I'm not, I mean, that's great. By the way, that, hats off to you that you had that loyalty to your class and stuff. I think that's wonderful. I'm not diminishing that at all, but I mean, do the fans come together and make a big collection for when a kid blows his knee out and he never can play again? Are we going to make sure that him and his family are fed, and then he's taken care of because he played our school? And, I just feel that all of this always seems it's one-sided. It's the university or the fans calling the players selfish. And when in reality is these kids, it's difficult what they do. They go to school. Let's face it. Right now, how many people in this chat could go through a spring training camp? How many guys, Zion Branch blew his, he had major surgery. It came back from a couple major injuries to play again. I'm not going to question, honestly, Adam, I don't see it as greed. Everyone in this world, nobody works for free around here. And I think that there's about time these kids get the money. Where I have the problem is that there's no structure. I think that for too long that the players have been getting screwed, and good for them, they're getting paid. What I don't like is that there is the accountability part that you're talking about. There are some players that have taken advantage of the situation. A player who's given USC 2 years of their time on the field, played their butts off. I thank them for being here and being a part of the program, and wish them luck on what they do, because they have the right to go and be happy. If they're not getting the number of reps, if they're not getting the number of targets, if they're not getting the amount of money they can make somewhere else, why can't they go make that money if that's what they want to do? I don't know. I'm not telling you what to think. That's just my personal opinion. But I'll tell you what, a lot of people feel the way you do. A lot of people do feel the way you do.
Well, the last thing I'll say is I think we should pay them, and I think that that's a good thing. But you know what? If you're making, say, $750,000 playing football for USC, and another school offers you $1.2 million, you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say no to that because I'm a damn Trojan,
Adam,
and I value my team, and I came here to be a Trojan. Okay, I want players at USC who want to be there. All right, I gave up a salary that was 2.5 times what I could have made. I wouldn't have to be struggling right now, but there was something that mattered more to me, and my parents taught me that. These kids don't have it. And I just respectfully disagree that these are the values we should be teaching our kids, but I don't want to take too much of your time. So
no,
I appreciate the discussion.
I appreciate what you said. I appreciate your feelings, but I also say that, everyone has different beliefs. And so I don't think it's greedy though. I mean, I would be the first one to say that it's greed driving this. Nobody else is held accountable to like their salary, and it's called greed. If you can make more money, it's the game has changed, Adam. Do you know what I mean? I get it. At some point there is something. If guys are going just for a little bit more money, then that's different. You know what I mean? But in general, I think when people are moving, I think a lot of it's not just the dollars and cents. I don't want to believe that. I believe it's for a better situation for themselves. But there are the ones that go for the big bag and the big money. The school has the opportunity to say, yeah, we'll pay you that. Do you know what I mean? So why is it their greed? Maybe it's the team's greed. Maybe it's whoever's pulled the purse strings at the school. Maybe they should pay them what they could get somewhere else. You know what I mean? That's another problem though. How does the school know? The school's not a part of the negotiations, and what they do, they're competing against a number than the agent's saying. I mean, some of that stuff, I can't speak to because I don't really know enough about it. But there is, I'm not going to say some kids are greedy
for our culture.
I mean, no one should be a martyr work for free. Are we getting mad? Are the NFL players greedy? When they leave a team?
It's okay to pay the players, but when they're making business decisions to make even more money, I'm sorry, that's not who I am. I'm loyal to my team, and I'm not just going to make decisions based on money. I think it bodes poorly for our culture and their future after football. But, people are probably going to say I'm crazy and, idealistic.
I don't think you're crazy.
But, I don't know. I'm happier now with less money than I would have been with more money, abandoning my kids and my students. So that's all I'm saying.
No, I think there's a lot of wisdom to that as well. Money does not bring you happiness, but it buys you a lot of things.
Thanks, Sam. I appreciate it.
All right, Adam. Great call. We got good points too. I mean, I'm not.
All right.
I don't think you're crazy. I don't think you're crazy. I actually see the value in what you're saying, and I wonder if there's some kids at USC that could have made more money somewhere else. Oh man, call right back. Who just called? I don't know why that was quick. Because someone called and hung up. That was fast. Look, you guys, we're down to 2 calls. I've missed 9 calls because I talked too long on these calls. You guys, appreciate you all being here. The phone number is right up here. I got 1 call. I'll stay on as long as we have calls. 888-997-4539. I got 1 more call in the hopper. If you're one of the 9 people that have hung up, I did apologize. We have had people waiting for about a half hour. So do call in. Thank you for all of you being here. And thank you for most of you guys have called in. I do apologize to the 9 callers that have dropped. Hi, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Curtis from Moreno Valley, and this is my first call. I like your show, and I really was angry when I heard about Zachariah Branch. I've been following the SC since Charles White and Marcus Allen.
Wow.
And what I've been seeing the past 2 years has reminded me of the Helton years. We're finding ways to lose. No matter how tight the games are, we come up on the short end at home and on the road, especially against the good teams that nobody's respecting us. We're losing really good players. And the high school kids are not going to come because we're losing. We're losing. We're not one of the winning teams. America wants us to be great. When we beat LSU, oh man, they wanted USC to be in the news all the time. And we just started losing again. It's getting worse. It's not getting better. I don't like Lincoln Riley anymore. He got a 2-deep roster he inherited at Oklahoma, a solid 2-deep roster, and he did a real good job with it. But at SC, he had to build a team. Just imagine, he's never experienced building a team almost from the ground up. He had some players that Clay Helton had recruited, but we didn't have the talent on the lines of scrimmage. And 3 years later, we still have to go in the portal to try to beef up our lines. I don't like this guy. I'm sorry. I wish Danton Lynn could take over, and then we'd always have a tough defense. But Lincoln Riley has really made me not want to. I'm about to go into the transfer portal. I'm starting one today for fans, and I'm going to be out for a little while. I'm sorry, man. This is really bothering me.
No, listen, I can hear it.
I'm seeing the help. Go ahead.
No, I can hear it in your voice. And like, you've been here since John Robinson won, with, you said, Charles White, Marcus Allen, Anthony Munoz, those guys, right? Brad Buddy and all the great O lines.
Bad years too.
Yeah,
there's been some bad years too.
Yeah, there's a Hackett years. You've survived that though. Listen, listen. If you survived Hackett and you survived Helton, now this is bad. This last 2 years have been bad. But if you've got those battle wounds, I wish Paulie was here. He'd do a better job talking you back up here, Curtis. But if you survive that, this is Disneyland compared to some of those dark days back then. Because you're right, as rough as it is to lose the close games to the bad teams, they're not getting blown out. Do you know what I mean? They're just not. Even that Notre Dame game, the end score kind of looked a bit off because there was a little miscommunication. And you had a couple pick sixes. And so
okay. Well, look at some of his ways of coaching.
Well, I'm not here to defend it. I'm hearing you. I'm just saying it's not as bad as some of the times you've seen.
Okay. Now, one of the things that gets me, like with Joyner, he had to know, based on Lincoln Riley's past since he's been here, he was going to get a running back out of the portal, and he was probably going to start. He's done that even though we had talented backs. How are your high school recruits going to want to stay if they know you're going to bring somebody from the portal in? We need to just concentrate on linemen. If we concentrate on getting the best linemen, both sides that we can get, the skill positions will be okay. I really believe that. But if we keep getting pushed around on both sides, it's going to be a long year again.
Spoken from a guy that was here for John Robinson 1. Yeah, no, I mean, I fully agree. You got to build. My dad tells me you build from the lines. That's just an axiom in college football. It all starts up front. I know people say that, but there's a lot of truth to that. And I lost you. Well, that was a great call, by the way. I don't know what's going on, but I just lost your call there. But Curtis, thank you so much. That was amazing. Hope you call back. Sorry, your call. I don't know what happened to your call. Hi, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yeah, hi. Who's this?
This is Old School from Chicago.
How you doing, Old School?
This is Old School from Chicago.
What's going on?
Hey, what's going on? You can hear me. That's good.
Yes, sir.
Hey, look, I heard some good news. I heard some good news today, and I had to check and see if you was going to come on tonight because I knew it was kind of bad news to you guys.
Well, let me tell you.
I need some information. What's going on with the Branch brothers? Because I'm hearing some good news on my end that they might be coming down to us.
To Colorado? Are you a Colorado Buffalo? I'll tell you what. If they head off to the Big 12, that's on them, man. That's all I got.
Yeah. Yeah, because Coach Pride down there, you love it when you get the family together. It's a family-oriented thing down there. They get all the help they can get, and it seems like maybe I'm gonna tell you something, young man. This goes right back to what we was talking about before. This is not the first time you talked to me, if you don't remember. But I was telling you then. I'm gonna tell you now. If you look at your problems, look where your problems are coming from. Look where your help is going to. So if you look at that, you'll see where your problem is. And then it consists of this. It comes down to likes and views.
Okay.
You get me?
Elaborate a little bit.
What I mean by that is, what? Say it again.
Yeah, go ahead. Elaborate on that a little bit for me.
I mean, okay, what I elaborate is sometimes it comes down to, like with them brothers out there. They really want to be together. And they want to go someplace where they can make that happen.
Okay.
And there's a lot of eyes out there on Colorado, not just because they're something new and it's fancy, it's because they've been known to universities like Southern California, because Southern California been kicking their butt side for a long time now.
Well, okay, so old school. I love your passion.
Nothing new to this.
Old school. I love your passion. I love your passion for the Buffs. I really do. Yeah. I'm going to be frank with you, though. Going from USC to Colorado, as much as you think that's a step up, it's a step down. You know that, right?
Okay, and how would you say that? Explain yourself, because you know what I'm saying.
We're 17-0 against you guys. We play in the Big 10. You play in the Big 12.
I know that. I understand. Well, matter of fact, look here. It ain't going good for you. And that's another problem. I'm glad you brought that one up. Now y'all just stepped up into something. You stepped up out of that out of the Pac-12, because we see how that was. Ooh. Now you just stepped up into something you might not be able to handle.
Well, I mean, what do you think USC's record? What do you think USC's record would have been in the Big 12 this year?
Like it was the year before when y'all last time y'all beat us. Like it was then.
What I'm saying is, I like
defense. Struggling on defense. Had a soak.
Wait. We had a wait. Hold on. You can't get away with that. We had a good defense last year.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a very good defense last year.
The best recruit you had coming in quit it halfway through the season.
Bear Alexander was
Bear
Alexander was not even close to the best player. Bear Alexander was not even close. Not even close to the best player on our team last year. But go ahead.
You said at first, why are you guys losing recruits? That goes right back to the Bear and what this problem was. How come y'all wind up losing him?
Where did Colorado finish in recruiting?
And you just said this before. Listen to it. And you didn't already said before. It's not about money.
Old school. Where did Colorado?
Y'all got money. Y'all losing these players because of views, young man.
Hang on, old school. Hold on. Where did Colorado finish in recruiting this year? Do you know? I don't even know.
This is where we finished it. We not finished yet this
right.
year. And recruit, and matter of fact, and look at, that's another point. And I'm glad, that's the point of you bringing them up. You bringing up good points because that reminds me that formula that Coach Prime got with 26 incoming freshmen, and then the rest the transfer portal. Well, I will tell you, how come your coach didn't think of that one? Oh, that's right. Y'all can't hustle right in the transfer portal.
What do you guys do? What's going to happen when Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders are gone? What's your offense going to look like?
Bro, don't you see these receivers we bringing in? Don't you?
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, you see the quarterback we got. Don't ask silly questions because you ain't going to get me washed up. We got Juju.
He's going to be a true freshman, right?
Juju. And we got that Smith, and we got that Smith boy to guard Juju.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, y'all tried to get. Matter of fact, y'all had him.
You need more than a 3-star. You need more than a 3-star tackle in order to be able to guard. Although in the Big 12, you probably don't need much. Maybe a box of raisins and a couple players could probably do the blocking in the Big 12. Yeah, I guess I'm just really gonna say is that I'm sorry, old school. I love you calling in, but you can't keep calling with nonsense about Colorado. You know what? We're happy where we are. I gotta be honest. I'm glad we're not Colorado. As bad as where we are, I'll take USC. Every day and twice on Sunday.
We are a problem to y'all. We're a problem. I mean, I'm not.
How are you a problem for USC? You guys went 0-17 against us, and we'll probably never play you again. Right? Am I wrong?
Well, you right, because we go to the playoffs, so y'all got a long time to wait to go there.
You guys are going to the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, with Juju gonna lead us.
Call in when that happens. All right. Thank you. Hey, great call. Thank you so much for calling in. Appreciate you, old school.
I love y'all.
Have a good night, man. Have a good night. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I want to hear from you since Christmas, but Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too, man. Thank you for calling.
All right.
Hey, I love passion. I love people being passionate for their schools. I really do. But we got to have some reason as well. A true freshman Juju is not going to come in there and replace what Shedeur Sanders did for Colorado. So I need him to realize that it's going to be a wake up call for a lot of people in Colorado. Travis Hunter won't be there next year, and I'm going to say it. They're in the Big 12. I mean, the Big 12 was already kind of watered down to begin with, and then you lose Texas and Oklahoma, and then you replace it with like BYU, and you replace that with UCF. By the way, congratulations, UCF. Thank you so much in the chat. Pretty funny if you know where I'm going with this. Congratulations, UCF, on your big hire of Alex Grinch. I'm sure that's all going to work out for you guys. I'm sure history is not going to repeat itself. But all joking aside, I hope they do very well. But maybe that defense will work in the Big 12. Who knows? We'll find out. But I'm not too optimistic for them. I don't think I have any more calls. So let me double check. You know, I'm sorry. There are 9 people that I didn't get to in the chat. I'm sorry, in the call queue that some of them were waiting. By the way, the caller that's in the queue right now, if you hang up and call right back, there's nobody behind you, and I'll get you right on. For some reason, our call queue is locked, and I don't know why that is. So caller, if you can hear me, if you're there, if you hang up and call right back, you're the last caller that's in the queue. We will be taking more calls. I'll be here as long as I have calls, but we have been on for an hour now, a little over an hour. Appreciate everyone being here. There's almost 600 people, you guys, between Twitter and the YouTube channel. I'm always really appreciative and amazed that so many people are showing up on a sad night for USC. But just a reminder that we're going to be live tomorrow on our regular scheduled show. Wednesday, we'll be here with Preston as always, 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern for our call-in show. Again, caller, if you can hear me, you're going to need to hang up because you're locking up our entire call queue. If you hang up and call back, I'll be able to get you on. Not sure if you can hear me or not. I don't know why this does it sometimes. I think it has to do with when it goes through the call system and it goes through call waiting. It's one of the bugs in the system I've not been able to figure out. So, yeah, caller, if you could just try resetting the system by hanging up and calling right back in. Phone number is right up here, 888-997-4539. Again, I'll stay on. There's a lot of you guys out there. If one of you 567 people want to call in, that's the phone number. We'll get you right on because I don't really have a queue at this point. So feel free to give us a call. You guys got the number. Appreciate y'all being here. I think we covered everything. We talked about, I don't think we need a detail about Josh Henson. I think a lot of you guys, we kind of talked about your feelings on Josh Henson. But he's off to Purdue. The thing that I really think people missed on is that first year when he had an offensive line, and we saw what this offense looked like when there was an offensive line. Again, caller that's on is waiting. You're really locking up the call queue. I don't know why you're staying in there. Now I got 3 calls behind you. Did really well. I mean, the addition of Bobby Haskins, they brought him in Virginia, and it really solidified that line. Now that line was obviously was brought together by Clay McGuire when he came down. Did a fantastic job the year before. Really, one of the shining points of that team in 2021 was that offensive line and how they really kind of came together at the end of the season. He really solidified that squad, and then it paid dividends in 2022. Then you had that weird situation because there was no depth, and you had Henson trying to cobble together and throw together that offensive line that never really. I mean, it was almost like that Ethan White should have been like the omen of the fact that we were waiting and waiting for Ethan White to show up, and he never cleared that medical waiver at big guard from Florida. And just for some reason, it just never happened. And that did cause major issues for USC, and they never really kind of quite got back from it. But this year was the year I said that, hey, look, we need Henson to step up, and he showed that. I mean, Pregnon came in last year and developed under Henson, Elijah Page as well, and he's going to bring in Alex Payne and Aaron Dunn, 2 guys I think that are going to be amazing for USC. Absolutely stars at USC. So the recruiting was picking up, and now he's leaving. But they're going to have to fill that position really quick because they're going to need to hold on to those guys, like we talked about with roster. That I'm telling you, Alex Payne and Aaron Dunn, those guys are really talented guys, and they did commit to Henson. I think you need to get the new coach in here and show them who their coach is going to be. Hang on to those guys as well as talented guys like. I know for a fact that I talked to Gabe about this fact that we lose Elijah because we don't have a guy in place, and that would be a massive hit for USC. So keeping the line and the guys we have in play, we have a lot of young guys, a lot of young talent coming in this year. I'm really excited about the offensive line, and we'll see if that can happen. Well, I got someone that's locking up our call queue, which is going to mess everything up. Let me start something. Let me try resetting my phone. Maybe that might remove them. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I'll hang on for a few minutes. But if I can't resolve this, this is a call-in show, and it's kind of worthless without callers. So let me reset the phone and see if that does it. Because the magic can't happen unless the phone's ringing. Guys, have any questions for me in the chat? I'll also probably ask you some questions in the chat if you want to ask them there. Usually during the show, I'm too busy with calls, so I can't get to you guys. But if you guys want to go ahead and throw some questions, I don't know if there are any that I can hit with. Let's set the phones reset. And then if I don't have any calls, again, I had 4 people try to call in, but there's one person that's for some reason clogging that call queue. Caller, I see 2 of you guys that keep hanging up and calling in. But let me give it a minute, see if we can reset this. Otherwise, we will call tonight. But remember, if you do want to talk Trojan football, I'm sure every day it just seems like there's news. We're due for some good news. So hopefully you guys tomorrow, remember, Preston will be here, 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern. And we will be talking the same thing, same exact format, but we'll have our guy Preston here answering questions with us. All right. Well, we're gonna have to start. We're gonna have to close the show out on an end note with phone technical difficulties. I promise you guys, I'll have that set up by the end by tomorrow. So, you guys, thank you all so much for being here. There's almost 600 people still here between Twitter and between YouTube. Thank you guys for being here. The phone is not going to communicate with me, so I will not take any more calls. Thank you guys. Sorry to the 10 people that tried calling in. Technical difficulties are horrible. Make sure you guys are checking out the video we just put out today over on LAFB. Jamal and Ryan and I went into some deep dives about the Branch brothers and about Henson. You can hear me over there and their amazing thoughts. I mean, I'll tell you what, it was like Jamal was like taking this like reading my mind, because everything he was saying is exactly what I wanted to say. And the guys over there do a great job. Make sure you're checking out Ryan's work. They're doing a lot of great stories over at LAFB as well that you might want to get in touch with. But I'm giving one last chance for this phone to work, but I just don't think it's going to happen. So thank you all for being here. You guys were a great audience. No questions in the chat. Yeah, so our very own B. Jones, look at that. B. Jones from Light the Torch podcast is going to be the new head coach. I did not know that he was over at Mizzou. Now, I know nothing about Brandon Jones over at Missouri. All I know is I want to get a guy in place as soon as possible, because I do not want to lose the talent we have, because I do think Josh Henson did pick it up in this last year and really did a good job of developing the guys we have. The young guys, there's guys like Micah Banuelos and Michael Banuelos, and then you have another guard in Hayden Treater that we have not got to see yet. And those are 2 guys I'm really looking forward to seeing getting some playing time. Oh my goodness, is this working? Hold on a second. Hi, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hang on one second. Let's see if we can fix that. We got a call. Hang on a second, caller. I love technical difficulties on live shows. It's the one thing that you need to do is if you're going live, they get a 5,000 net. Call, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, all right. Thank you so much. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Craig from New York City. How you doing, Tim?
I'm doing great. You guys in the chat, because I did have to reboot the phone. If you guys could give me a thumbs up or a yes or some emoji letting me know you guys can hear Craig. Craig, how you doing, sir?
I'm all right, man. We cool, man?
I never stay mad. If you know me, listen, I'm letting you know a little secret. A lot of that's just me as an act. So don't worry. I don't really get that. I don't really get pissed off. What's up?
Yeah, they said Tim was looking for you, man. I was gonna make sure we were cool, man.
Well, you're in New York.
But,
I'm in LA.
yeah.
So, and we can
Nah,
have a
man,
coast, West Coast, East Coast beef if you want, but I'll leave that up to you.
I'm in LA though, but I'm in LA now, so but now we're good though, man. Best as friends, man.
All right.
Fight on, man.
So what's on your mind?
Nah, that last call was terrible, man. Like, that was probably the worst call in history. So we're gonna give that guy an award.
Who,
for
my
that.
buddy, old school?
Yeah, old school, man. Old school needs to call into a Colorado call show, man. That was terrible.
You know what? Listen,
like terrible.
That kind of passion is kind of hard for me to get mad at. I think he's in maybe for a rude awakening, but yeah, I do appreciate the passion.
Yeah, I got like 3 family members of my family who don't even watch college football, and they're suddenly Colorado football fans, and they don't make any sense either. So I'm used to it. But yeah, I called in to say, Trojan fans, today's a great day for us. We got rid of some dead weight, just football wise, not people wise. I'm not talking about them personally because they're great kids, like we've all been saying. But like football wise, we got rid of some dead weight. We got rid of a safety who can't cover in space. And we got rid of a receiver who can't run any routes or.
Wait, I thought you were trying to get back on my good side, but go ahead because I remember.
I am. That's positive. That's positive.
How about talking about he's a big hitter and he's a box safety that can help USC in the run game, right? Some things like that. Yeah. What else? What's your breakdown?
Nope.
Okay.
Nah, we got other people for that, But we don't need that. We don't need Zion. We need Zion to cover people, and he wasn't really getting it done coverage wise. So, he was always hurt too. The best thing in football is your availability. Number one, his availability sucked, honestly. So we don't need him. We don't need to be wasting NIL dollars on kids who can't get open and create separation and kids who can't cover anybody. It's a waste of money because right now this is a business now. So business wise, like Tim, you got a job. A lot of people in this chat have jobs. Or people have people that work for them. Somebody's not producing, you usually get rid of them, right? So they weren't producing to the level that we needed them to produce. And the way we were throwing Zachariah the ball this year, it kind of seemed like he was allocated for a lot of NIL dollars. So if we're wasting a lot of money on him and the production wasn't there, I'd rather, let's give that like focus to our offense to Lemon. You know what I'm saying? Like I have zero empathy for these like kids when it comes to like, being like brutally honest about the football stuff. Like personally, like I'll never try to attack them, but like football
I get you.
Like
that's solid. I got you.
He just wasn't getting it done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think today was a great day. And I also wanted to say, like, I think people are overreacting because we're battling the NIL deals right now. So it's not over. Like if people are saying we need to sign more guys, we just signed one of the two, I say two best available deep backs in the country. The other one, I don't know what happened, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. And we're fighting for one of the biggest D linemen in the country right now. And I think we got a good chance of getting him. So I think with those two players and maybe a linebacker or maybe offensive lineman, I think we'll be solid. We'll be able to go in next year and try to win 10 games. We got a favorable schedule, and it starts off slow. Let us build up. So I think good things are on the horizon, Tim. Like I see what you were talking about. I see it. I just want Lincoln to keep doing what he's doing. We're 26 classes looking amazing. Israeli is California centric. I love it. We got the best two corners in America coming to our school next year, and it's a lot of great players. I hope we can go after what's his name, Chris Henry Jr. I hope we can get in that sweepstakes.
I think he's pretty much he's a Buckeye, right? Wasn't his dad a Buckeye? He's a legacy, I think. I'm not sure.
His dad was a Buckeye?
I'm not certain. I think Chris Henry was. Guys, chat, let me know. I guarantee you there's There's a recruit Nick in the chat who can tell us that Chris Henry was a Buckeye. I just off the top of my head, that's what I'm thinking.
I thought he was a Beaver.
Yeah.
I thought he was Oregon State, right?
Someone's saying West Virginia.
I don't know.
Terrence, are you serious? Was West Virginia?
Oh yeah, West Virginia. Yeah, West Virginia. Yeah, he was at West Virginia. Yeah, so we can get in on that.
Okay.
At the end of the day, it's all about money. You know, like think about all the guys that we had locked up this time last year that not in our recruiting class. He's from California. If Lincoln does what he's supposed to do this year,
but he plays at Mater Dei.
He can get in on that.
But he plays at Mater Dei. We don't get Mater Dei guys.
Day.
We don't get Mater Dei guys anymore.
Nah.
Are you hoping Laura's going to change that around? She's going to turn that around for us? Huh?
Yeah, we taking pictures with the coach, man. We're cool with those guys now, man. So, there's a lot of good players. I see it, Tim. I think we're gonna have a good year. I see 10 wins for us. If we don't have 10 wins, I'm like Trojan Blade, man. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think
I don't know.
I like so the way it sets up, it does set up nicely. Again, we're gonna have a young team, but it's kind of like going back to that 2020-23 season where it's really at the beginning it ramps up, right? We don't really have any difficult games early, so that will allow young offensive linemen, young defensive linemen, young linebackers, young, or inexperienced secondary guys to get in and really cut their teeth with a favorable schedule, as you said. We do have some warm-up games. We don't go to Las Vegas to play an SEC team in LSU, regardless of how great that LSU team was. It was a difficult challenge, and even then, early we had some guys get dinged up because of that game. So I do like the fact that you get a lot of young guys involved. Hopefully, a lot of the backups are in the second half, so we rest up. So we're not playing a 12-game season. We're playing an 11-game season, if you know what I mean, because then the guys are sitting out the second half. Maybe one drive into the third quarter, and then guys can get some rest. That's the goal, and that's what a lot of programs have done for years. They just schedule those absolute cupcakes so they can get their guys out rested, and they're not playing long season. Because look at so many guys in the playoffs. If we have aspirations for the playoffs, now you're adding multiple games after the season. So you do need to start scheduling the way we're scheduling. And the 2 bye weeks really help, because I know it's going to be super physical with that with the Notre Dame game and with Oregon. And the byes are really going to with the Michigan and the Notre Dame game. Those are going to be physical games, but having that bye before Michigan is absolutely favorable. We're not going out to Ann Arbor. We win that game last year at home. I have very little doubt about that. Great experience, great crowd, but I think we win that game at home.
Yeah, definitely. I think with Notre Dame being in the playoffs, I think they're going to have a down year next year, especially I think their quarterback's a senior, and I don't really see them active in the transfer portal. So I think they'll be coming with a newer quarterback starting, and I don't see them participating in the transfer portal to get a quarterback to bring somebody in. So I think we'll have Notre Dame's number next year. So our toughest game is Oregon.
No, hold on. Hit the brakes.
A freshman quarterback.
You do know how difficult it is to play in South Bend, and you know our record, regardless of how good teams are in South Bend, right? I mean, USC, that is a place, and Austin is also another place where even really good USC teams struggle. So I think it's a favorable schedule, but I don't think playing Notre Dame next year, regardless of how what their team is, still going to be solid. One thing you can count on is they're going to have a hell of an offensive line. It just seems like year in and year out. So going into South Bend is never going to be a game that I'm looking forward to. And then playing the Ducks with just, again, the way this game is being played now and the roster that they're building, as much as we hate to say it, they have and they are building a damn good roster. And going up to Audson's never been a good place for USC to go play. So we'll see. I mean, we will see. I like it.
I think I'll tell you why really quick why I think the Notre Dame game is going to be a win. Number one, we're getting them at October 18th. It's possibly the weather's still going to be that fake summer, fall weather. The weather should be good. October 18th, right? Good enough for them to go up there and play.
Mm-hmm.
And
we got Jaden Mayava. This kid doesn't give a fuck. Like, he's not scared of nothing.
This is a child. This is a children-friendly show. Craig, we got to watch the language, buddy.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, he doesn't care. Jaden, with Jaden Mayava, will be in any game because he just doesn't care. So he's gonna let the ball go. So I think we'll be good, man. Yeah, Tim, want to say I appreciate you, man. Love the show. Appreciate you, man. Fight on, man. Have a good night, man.
All right, good call. All right, listen. Now we're back on good terms. That makes me a happy guy.
All right, man.
Craig and I, this is the moment. Craig and I have now made up. That's awesome. And Craig, thank you for calling in. Fight on, man. Great call. That opens up the phone line. I'll give you guys a few minutes while I kind of get back to what I was talking about. But then we are going to get out of here. So what I really want to see from this is that if we continue to struggle, the front office situation here at USC, there has to be something that's changed. Okay, it just if it's not working, it needs to be fixed. And I like the fact, and I do believe Lincoln Ryan is going to fix it, because when the problem was the defense, although it was a reactionary, he did take steps, and he didn't do half measures. He absolutely changed it. I'm going with a bunch of people I trust that keep telling me that money is there. So if we go on the assumption that money is there, it just simply means that there's something getting gummed up in the process, whether it's the management of that money, it's how the players are getting their money. I don't know. I don't care. That's not what someone up there is paid to figure all that out. And whoever it is really needs to help to build this roster. Now, we could all be jumping, and I could be eating my words, and I hope I'm eating my words in a couple of months, right? There's going to be the guys that are currently playing in the playoffs. I think we have till the end of December for all the other players, but everyone's in the playoffs. They have an extra 5 days. Is that correct? You guys let me know in the chat if I'm wrong. They have an extra 5 days in order to get a port. So you look at it like January 5th or so, something like that. So after the first week of January, I do expect there to be a lot of big names that USC is going to be able to go after. And if we are, I guess, making roster cuts here and making cap room, for lack of a better word, then I expect us to go swing big when those names are out there. And I'm tired of losing certain teams. I like the fact that they probably did overpay, but they finally said, enough of this crap. We are going to go up against Oregon. We are going to go up against Ohio State, and we are going to bring Jakeem Stewart home. You guys want to overpay him? Fine. We'll throw money around and we'll go get him. Go up against Texas A&M and pull a quarterback the quality of Longstreet. Another big boy move when Juju Lewis just couldn't decide where he wanted to go to school. USC had enough, and they went out, paid money, and paid a premium, but they brought in Longstreet. I want to see more of that. I want to see it on the offensive tackle. I want to see a couple of defensive interior guys. And I wouldn't mind seeing another corner, because corners I was talking to Gabe, those corners in the Big Ten, man, they get dinged up. They got to come up and make tough tackles and stuff. And they get hurt at all of football. You need to have that depth in the corners, because that's a really important position. I really like the defensive line. I really like the pass rush that we have. But, man, we really do need to get some depth, because we saw it. I told everyone it was the worst secret in football, that you don't want to have your guys not rotating. And so late in games, they're gassed. Look at when we lost all those games. The guys were all beat up and exhausted because they're being forced to play because the guy decided to quit halfway through the season. So I lost one guy. You had Rakes check in for spring ball and bounce out. You had Lafitte leave in the middle of spring. And so an already small and limited interior defensive line got even smaller. And we saw that late in games, and we saw it late in the season as the injuries and the dings. Guys were playing, but guys are playing injured. They can't play at 100%. And they can't rotate properly. So it's just a cumulative effect. It's a game of attrition, and you need those big trench guys inside. USC has to find them. Thank God this year the offensive line stayed intact. Can you imagine a couple of injuries? As rough as the season you thought we had this year, can you imagine if we had injuries hit the injury bug, hit the offensive line? I don't want to know what happened if Jonah Monheim had gone down. We lose Elijah Page and Jonah Monheim. Holy crap. Right. So USC definitely has to get that defense of line, especially on the interior, beefed up a little bit. and they're definitely going to have to make some moves on the offensive line. Bring in a veteran tackle. I like our guards, and I think Elijah Page is going to be solid. I like all of our tackles, but we need depth, and we need some experienced depth. That's the biggest part, because it's great to say that, yes, we have Elijah Page and he's going to hold it down on the left side. And I like that young Tobias Raymond probably going to be filling in. Look for him to make that big jump. We talked about Elijah Page in the offseason. He came through. Look for big Tobias Raymond to do the same thing. And Hayden Treater is going to, I'm telling you, he's going to work his way into the lineup. I just know he is. He's a big dude, 6'7", I think, 330-ish. Look for him to make some waves. And Micah Banuelos is finally getting back from his surgery. Really looking forward to seeing what he can do on the line. All right, well, we've been on for what, almost an hour and a half. Thank you so much. Again, 600 people on between Twitter and YouTube. We'll be back here again tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 Eastern. Until then, you guys, thank you so much. If you haven't already, again, if you've enjoyed the show, please give us a follow. If you're on Twitter, go ahead and give us a follow over there. Make sure you hit the notification bell here on YouTube. And Preston and I will see you guys tomorrow night, you guys. Fight on.